Reading with your kids.
Hola, ni hao, konnichiwa, assalamu alaikum, shalom, jambo, bienvenidos. Hi, my name is Jedlie, and this is the Reading with Your Kids podcast. We are so excited that you are part of our Reading with Your Kids family. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the show. We can be found on the iHeartRadio app, on Spotify, on Podbean, and wherever you find your podcast. We have a wonderful guest for you today. She is the illustrator of my book, Love That I Matter to You, and so many others. Her name is Sanghamitra Dasgupta. As you hear in a minute, Sanghamitra is coming to us from Kolkata in India. And India is one of those places I would love to perform at. I'd love to visit and perform my educational magic shows in India, in Australia, in the United Kingdom, in Japan, in China, and in your community. I would love to bring my educational magic show, We Choose Respect, to your community, to inspire the kids in your community to be kind, to be caring, to stand up for each other, to make sure that everybody feels welcome and included. And I do that through a wild mix of comedy, original music, and absolutely amazing illusions and magic tricks. The show is totally interactive. I'm up on stage, but there's somebody on stage with me every single minute of the show. And one of the compliments that I'm most proud of is I've heard over and over again that people really appreciate that I treat everybody who comes up on stage with respect. They're not the butt of a joke. They're not a prop. I bring people up, and the people who come up on stage, they become the stars of the show. I would love to help your kid and the kids in your community feel like the stars of my show. For more information about We Choose Respect or any of my educational magic shows, you can go to two places. You can go to my website, Jedlie.com, Jedlie, Jedlie.com. You can also find out about my shows by going to readingwithyourkids.com/live. Readingwithyourkids.com/live. Joining us on the line right now from Kolkata in India, she is one of the most prolific and talented illustrators that I know. She has illustrated my recent book, Love That I Matter to You, and a whole lot more. Please welcome back to the show, Sanghamitra Dasgupta. My friend, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you, sir?
I am wonderful, wonderful. So happy that we had a chance to collaborate and create that wonderful book, Love That I Matter to You. I came to Sanghamitra was on the show before, and we're friends on Facebook. I see all the great work that she was doing, and I came to her with this idea that I wanted to create a book that kids could read to their parents, and I wanted to create some characters that kind of everybody could relate to. And she came up with these really fun monster characters that are just sweet. They could be boys, moms, dads, girls, whatever. It's just, I think it's something that every family can relate to, and it's just so much fun.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I just love, first of all, you gave me the idea to make it a little different from the normal things what I do. Mm-hmm. So we had came with this monster idea, and you told me to make it like a parent with a child, those who wants to spend their times together and reading books. So I made the characters as per your instructions, and it comes like this.
You know, one of the things that fascinated me when I started the Reading with Your Kids podcast and started writing children's books myself is how typical it is for authors and illustrators to never be in the same room together and spend, in some cases, have no real direct contact with one another. The first couple of books that I created with my niece, and yeah, we were communicating over the internet and through messages, and but this is somebody that I knew and somebody that I've given big hugs to and has had in the house. You are somebody that I met through Facebook and through the podcast here. And then so we have a relationship. We haven't been in the same room or even the same country, but I'm amazed to learn that there are some authors and illustrators who never meet and never communicate directly. It's just through agents and publishers, and that just boggles my mind sometimes.
Yes, yes. There are some illustrators who lives in different countries, but they work worldwide. And I have some illustrator friends also who are there from US, but they are working from somewhere else for some people who are from different countries. But it is good to be in the contact via social media. So that's a great point, I must say.
Tell me, how did you get into not only illustrating, but especially illustrating children's books?
What I have said in my earlier post, this is the same. I have started my drawing and all the things at the age of 5, and then my journey begins. So I have done some of the local newspaper magazines and all, and after finishing my graduation I took a proper course certificate from the APTEC, that is worldwide. And then I started to think, so I was doing like some graphic designing works. First of all, I have joined some of the companies as a graphic designer also. But that doesn't work for me, or I can say that my mind is not there. So I came back as an illustrator, and now I am completely as a book illustrator working with the authors and all the publishers right now.
How many? I want to get into some specific books, and you've also written some books, and you've also been nominated for some awards. So there's so much going on for you. But just off the top of your head, do you have any idea of how many books that you have illustrated?
Well, from beginning, from 5 years up to till now, I can say that is more than 300.
Wow.
Last year was the best. I have done almost like, some of them are on the process of being published, but almost like 50 to 60 books done in 2018.
Wow, that's incredible. Now, one of the other things that really amazed me in talking to some traditional publishers is that they told me that a typical children's picture book can take 2 to 3 years to publish, and from the time that the publisher decides, yes, we're going to publish this book, to the time it gets to a store shelf can take 2 to 3 years. You work at a much faster pace than that. How is it that you're able to work at that pace when other, again, traditional publishers seem to take so long?
Well, I must say that I was a little bit speedy more than anyone else since my childhood. So, yes, so I always try to complete a book within a month. And currently I'm working with 4 to 5 publishers. So each publishers have given me 2 to 3 books. So all the books are completed right now. All are completed. So I'm waiting for the new issues to come to me for start the new project.
Wow, incredible. Now you were recently nominated for is it 1 or 2 awards?
No, this is the nomination process going right now.
Okay.
The award will be given in 2020. And it is the biggest award. This is the Presidential Award of India, you can say. The Padma Shri Award of 2020.
Wow.
In the art field. Yes.
That's amazing. Now, how did they discover you to nominate you, and how will the ultimate winner be selected?
I basically don't know what is their procedure, but they have nominated me on the basis of my works, which I have shared on the social media, on Google and all the things. And I have been taking part on one of the project that is called DAVP, the Government of India's project, where I have made an illustrations of one of on the 3 martyrs of India, and it is like 23rd March, which we celebrate, and the illustrations were published all over the India on the newspaper. So yes, my name is also attached on that project.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, I promise you, I'm not going to ask you which of the almost 300 books that you've illustrated is your favorite. because I know Love That I Matter to You is your favorite. No, I'm kidding.
No, that is my favorite also. That is my favorite also because it is unique. It is unique than any other book. All the books has the human characters. This is the first book which I made, which has the monster characters, which is showing the human nature, human behavior on all the things. So this is quite different, and it is one of my favorite.
Well, that brings up a question. Do you like challenge? Do you like projects that really challenge you and test your limits?
Yes. I love challenges. That's why I always tell my independent author clients that I will do the unlimited changes because what I am thinking, I am making that illustration and they put something else from their mind. So it is my challenge to how to make the two things together and create another new thing. So I love that.
Yeah. Now I know one of the books that you recently illustrated was also featured on the show, The Adventures of Princess Jellybean. Did I say the title right?
Yes. And I have completed The Adventures of Princess Jellybean Part 2 recently.
Wonderful. So, do any books, as you're working and you're reading the books and you're getting ideas from the authors, have you ever had a situation where you're reading the book and it's like, oh, this is I'm just not into this. This is so and it becomes a chore for you to finish the project?
No. Yeah, because I always prefer to read some particular books, and my favorites are always like ghost stories and comic books. So my collection is always the comic books and ghost stories. There is nothing more like that. But I love to work on different projects. And as you said, The Princess of Jellybean, written by Mrs. Cindy Handley Goodall, I have completed her 3 books in 3 to 4 months. Like Princess Jellybean Part 1, Part 2, and then her another book which is called Grandpa Moon. So 3 books I have completed with her.
Now, I have to say, if there are people out there and they're listening and they're going, well, the traditional publisher takes 3 years and Sanghamitra can make a book in a month, well, the quality must not be there. I'm not going to ask you to comment on your own quality. Like I said, I used you as an illustrator. I think the quality of your illustrations is wonderful. And one of the things that I love about working with you is, I know there was one project that we're working on and you had sent, I had given you some ideas and you sent back your initial drawings and I'm like, not quite. I'm thinking more this way. And like you right away went and you did the changes. Have you ever had a situation, and maybe I was the person, but have you ever had a situation where an author gives you an idea and you're pretty sure that you know exactly what the author is looking for, and you create the work, and then when you turn it in, the author says, no, and then they tell you something completely different. They've changed their mind.
Yes, that happens basically, that book I am currently doing on. Last year he came to me and that is via a publisher, and I made the cover first and I sent him and he said, no, that is not what I am looking for. Then I said, okay, I can make the changes, but he said, no, I am fine. I will work with another illustrator. So I said, okay, that's okay with me. But this year he came back and he said, no, your cover work was absolutely perfect and I want to go with you. So it was like, oh my God. And he came back with the same publisher and the publisher asked me, would you love to do the cover, the project again? And I said, is it the same author? And she said, yeah, that is the same author. Then I said, okay, that's fine.
Now, one of the things, if there are people, and this is one of the things hard things for authors to accept. And I'm guessing that it's also a hard thing for some illustrators to accept. The minute that you become an author, and the minute you become an illustrator, you are in essence becoming a business person. Because your business is the business of, in your case, selling your illustrations. And one of the things that I'm very impressed with is that you're a great business person. You know, you're creating art, and you have a lot of pride in your art, and you have a lot of skill and talent, but you also know that you're a great person to work with business wise, because you understand you have to make the customer happy. You do a better job of promoting your work than a lot of authors do. You do a better job of promoting Love That I Matter to You than I do. So, so you're very keenly aware that you are a business person. And tell if there's a young illustrator or even an author out there to kind of talk about that, how important that is for an illustrator to understand that they have to take care of business.
Yes, first of all, business is something like you need to do very much seriously. And business is like an author and illustrator and their collaboration project, and you had to make a good marketing strategy which will sell your book. Mm-hmm. If you never do any marketing for your book, if you never post any banner or posters, whatever you can make, then nobody will see your book, nobody will ever know about your book. Mm-hmm. Your book will kept in your cupboard or somewhere else. So the first thing is you need to learn the marketing strategies, how to sell your book.
Mm-hmm. What are some of your favorite strategies in letting people know about your books?
Well, you can do live book readings. Mm-hmm. You can go to your local schools with the book reading sessions or go for a book signing. Mm-hmm. And then you can make a quite little attractive poster or banner of your book featuring your favorite pages or the main story of the book. And you can make that and you can post it. You can make a Facebook page mm-hmm. with the mentioning of the book, and you can do like some free given things on all the things. So there are different kind of marketing strategies. Mm-hmm. And I prefer like the live one, the book signing and school visiting. That is the main thing I prefer for that.
Now, tell us the bookmark. I know that you're working with a lot of working with a lot of authors here in the States. Mm-hmm. Do you also work with authors in different countries and back home in India?
Yes, I work with an author. She is from New Zealand. Mm-hmm. And I work with an author who is from Iran. I had made some cartoons for their upcoming art exhibition in Iran that is like in this May end. Mm. And there is a company that is in India. I was working with them, but unfortunately the company has been closed. Mm. So yes. Nice. So there are some companies.
Yeah, cool. Now, remind us about your books, so people can not only see the illustrations, but also experience the storytelling of Sanghamitra Dasgupta.
Well, last year, it was like a long year back. I just posted my year back video today also, and there are 4 books. One is Mac, the Friendly Ghost, and then the art book of Sanghamitra Dasgupta. And then another one is Johnny's Holiday Vibes Activity Pages, Activity and Coloring Book. And the third one is Brian the Goat. So there are 4 books which I have wrote. And there is another one which I have written. I just started written, but due to my work pressure, that is like I kept it aside and let's focus on my illustration projects. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One of the discussions that I recently saw in a Facebook authors group is mm-hmm. A person mentioned that the typical route is that an author goes to an illustrator with the story idea, and mm-hmm. they were wondering if the reverse ever happens. Does an illustrator ever come up with a series of illustrations that tell a story, and then go and look for an author to create the words and the story to go with the illustrations?
Well, that is sometimes happen. I had made a very much like fan art, or you can say a practice art mm-hmm. with the character Joker, but I made it as a human being, but the face is almost like a Joker and he is like chilling at a park bench. So one of my authors, she saw that post and she asked my publisher that I want my character exactly like the same. And she told me that, can you make my character what you have done with this, with your sample illustrations? So I said, okay, I can do that. And then I made her book as per my illustration character, and that is the new upcoming book of mine, one of the new upcoming book of mine, that is Gimli the Goblin. So her goblin character is basically inspired from my illustration character, sample illustration project.
Wow. Now, do you have any idea which of the nearly 300 books that you've written or illustrated, do you have any idea which one has sold the most or become the most popular?
Well, there are some magazines which is called Jedlie. They are from India and they sold a lot. And if you are going with the international one, I have made a book with Mr. Stuart Marriott, the 2000 Warrior, and he's right now making a movie on that. So I am honored to be a part of that because I have illustrated a small project of that. So that book also always sold the most. That is the number one book also in Amazon category. And then Mrs. Cindy Goodell's book, The Princess of Jellybean. And there are some magazines which are from India. They sold very much good because they are in India. It is like kids are prefer rhyming books right now. Rhyming books and small stories. So they prefer to go with that. So Indian magazines are like selling, they are quite very much good at sale in India. Not in internationally, but quite good in India.
Wonderful. What advice do you have for a young author that's considering becoming a book illustrator?
Well, you need to practice a lot. Don't worry, because there are some pros and cons, and there are some people who might take you down, try to take you down from your illustration habit, illustration projects. And I have seen there are some people who are in the groups and they randomly comment on your work that, oh, you can't do that, your work is so bad. To try to convince them to inspire those people who want to illustrate in this field, who want to try to become an illustrator in the field. So it's like be supportive always. And try to practice each and every day. That's the main key.
Wow. Where can people, if there's somebody out there that's listening and wants to find out more about your books, if there's an author out there that wants to work with you, what's the best way for folks to connect with you and find out more about your work?
Yeah, first of all, they can check my works on my Instagram page. I made it as my work profile, and that is creative, CREATIVE _art, then _ Shoppy, SHOPPE, then _. Or they can find me on Facebook. My Facebook is Sanghamitra Dasgupta 2811, facebook.com Sanghamitra Dasgupta 2811. Or they can simply Google me, that author and illustrator Sanghamitra Dasgupta. So Google will show you my other contacts also.
Excellent. Well, I am happy that I am following you on Instagram. We're also friends on Facebook, and we're creating together, and we'll be creating some new projects very soon. I've had such a pleasure speaking to my friend, my collaborator, Sanghamitra Dasgupta.
It's an honor, sir, to be in your show.
Yes, thank you very much. Please be sure to join us for the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. Our guest will be Nita Clark and Kathy Doherty, mother and daughter team, here to talk about their fantastic new children's picture book. If you are the author of a great children's book, we would love to have you as a guest on the Reading with Your Kids podcast. Being a guest on the show gives you the chance to tell thousands and thousands of people about your fantastic children's book. It's fun, it's easy, and it doesn't cost a thing. All you need to do is go to our website, readingwithyourkids.com, click on the contact button, let us know about your great book. We'll let you know the next easy steps. We want to thank Sanghamitra Dasgupta for being on the show today. I want to thank my amazing producer, Fatima Khan, for everything she does for the show. I want to thank my beautiful wife for all of the support that she gives me. And, of course, I want to thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Thank you so much for telling your friends about the show. And thank you so much for making the world a better place by reading with your kids. I'll be looking for you in the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast.